Welcome back to this build. We are still in the barn mother-in-law apartment thing that we're trying to convert into a workshop. We worked on the wall a bit more, but not going to really show that because it was just more concrete work. Today, we need to start putting the beams across so that we can put the floor down. So I am going to get my laser leveler out and measure exactly where I want the ledge on this far wall to go, so that when we can span the beams across. So it's a lot of just measuring and figuring out exactly where the beams are going to go, but that's the point of this video. And then if we get the beams across today or in this video, then I'll put the plywood that we bought down so that we can start creating a walkable floor that we can start using for the workshop. So let's get right into it. So you can see I got my laser leveler out. And there's a couple centimeters between the floor and the wall that we built here. So I'm basically gonna come around all the way to the other side, measure that difference so that I can start my wall on the far side where that door is. If my measurements are close, it should be right at that doorway. As you can see, there's a small, maybe 10-15 centimeter gap here. I'll measure it in a second. And over there at the doorway, it's the same amount. So the beams will go straight across basically to that doorway, and that's what will kind of level it out. I also have a second red line over there, which is a little bit lower, as you can see, to try and just get a little bit of some accuracy. But we'll see. The floor doesn't have to be perfectly level because it's just a workshop, but I'm going to try and get it as level as possible because obviously it will be more comfortable to work in and it'll just be better if it's a level floor. So that's what we're working on. Alright, I got the first beam in and I'll explain what I'm doing. You guys will probably kill me in the comments, but it's going to work. So what you can see here at the base is I've taken rebar and I've hammered it. I drilled into the wall and then I hammered it in. I then took more rebar and put it across, so I have two braces. And then I'll make a little mold here and fill it up with concrete up to the kind of edge. So it'll be a concrete case with rebar into the wall. You can see it's pretty much right where I want it. It's a little bit lower, but from the line that I wanted, but it will be fine because I'll just level them all. And the reason that I'm doing that is because if you look over here, I have pretty much, if it'll focus, yeah, pretty much perfect level all the way out to this wall. And this is the wall that we built. So this will sit on that wall, as you can see, comes across. We'll put the rebar in. We have 8, so we'll drill all along. And we'll make these little cages. Once I'm done and I'm fine with everything being level, also across, I will build a little concrete mold to concrete these into place so that that rebar doesn't shift or move. And yeah, it's pretty strong. I'll show you right now before it's even put in place. As the camera shakes. Before it's even put in place, I can hang on it. It's strong enough. Obviously, I don't want to hang on it too much because I want to make sure that it's properly cemented in place before I move forward. Is it right? Who knows? Maybe some of you guys know. But will it work? It will definitely work. As long as I can keep them all level, we should be fine because, as you saw, it was level straight across. So as long as I can keep them all level across, both this way and the other way, then it'll be fine. And then we'll have a floor. So I just have to keep moving forward.
Came out to see what Miguel's up to. He's been working here for a while now. I was working inside.
Yeah, I got these beams placed, dry placed obviously, to see how level they are and to see how it'll look. I'm actually quite satisfied so far. Most of it is I'm getting pretty level, to be honest, and even across it's not too bad. Again, there'll be a little bit of shimming work to kind of, you know, put a shim here, put a shim there, shim everywhere, to kind of make it level, but it's not bad. I'm actually okay with it. As you can see, I got the beams in place. We have 6 of them spanning across. Originally there was 8 wooden beams, but I couldn't really fit more in, and if I add more in, it'll become less level, because as you can see, my wall over there is not perfectly level, but I have been able to get these pretty good. And when I say pretty good, you can see here that it's spanning across these 3. So I got it pretty level, and they're level across also. If I flip it around, you can see that they are very level. Yeah, you can see that they're level across, and they're level the other way as much as I'm gonna get it. Like I said, I can use some shims to put them in place, like their final place. What I need to do now is make the mold so that I can actually cement these in place. Pretty satisfied with the positioning, and if it feels like it doesn't feel very secure, I can always put under it, I can always put a wooden beam or some kind of other beam that would prop it up on this wall. But for now, this is going to work. Again, like I said, I'm very level, pretty much right in the center. Again, close enough for the wall that we built and for the type of floor and concrete that I'm doing. And these 2 in the center, when you come in this door, will be actually on this lintel-like beam. So this is very, very secure going across. And the other ones will be cemented into place. And then on that side, once everything is cemented into place, they shouldn't move, which will allow me to put the plywood down, because we bought plywood that we're gonna put over. And then on the far side, I'll work on the next wall once this one's done.
We're back out, and I'm ready to saw. I just mixed up a bucket of concrete, and I'm gonna create the molds so we can put the beams in place.
It is another day, and I'm out here working on the mother-in-law workshop build, and I have my first board here. I'm going to show you kind of what I did. I got my beams up, and I'm going to show you how level it is, and I'm going to show you kind of the process so you can see what I've been up to. As you can see, my floor is very level. I'm quite satisfied with that. I can move it around and it stays nice and level, pretty much right on the money, as they say. And level this way, also level this way, as you can see here. It's a little bit less, perfect, but it's pretty good. And for the purpose of a workshop, I'm quite happy with that. As we can see here, I put the beams across, and I'm working on the next side too. Put the beams across and I cemented them into place. These last 3 here I'm still working on because I wanted to make sure everything was level before I fully encase everything. But these 2 out here, are also level. I was able to get I was able to get 7 beams on this side, and I'm hoping to get 8 on the middle. And then on the back side, we have a few beams that are concrete, only 3, because we bought the wrong size. And then I'll use maybe 4 or 5 pieces of wood. But we're still not sure about the far side. We might leave it open so that we can stack big pieces of wood on that back wall, and we can bring it in and leave them there, because this is a dry roof. I'm out here again working on this mother-in-law apartment. I just put in a kind of a frame for a window, because we have 2 windows that we want to put in here. Just makeshift windows. I think they actually used to belong to this building, and when the fire happened, somebody took them off. So we're going to attempt to put them back up. I just took some of the scrap wood that I had and made a little frame. It's in there pretty good, and I think it'll hold the windows. I might put a nail or a screw in just to make sure that this stays in. But that's what I'm working on. Today is a Sunday, and I wanted to show you the progress for this video to show you kind of what we got up to. As you see, we cemented these into place. I ended up getting a total of 7 beams in. It originally had 8 wooden beams, but I ended up only getting 7 based on how to make it level and spanning across. But you can see on this side, we concreted all of them in, cemented them in. So they're very stable. They're not going anywhere. And on the other side, we finished putting them in on this side in order to finish it. You can see we put in some of the bricks, put them, had some mortar, and so they're all down for now. We will make our mold, and we need to lay it, get it up to the height all the way up. We'll make a mold, and we'll pour the cement in, the concrete in, to finish up this wall so we can span the last of the beams from the far wall over to the new wall, to make this floor encased also. And this is the top view. As you can see, we ended up putting 3 in the center here instead of just 2, because we thought we'd be coming in and out of this doorway a lot, so having a 3rd one here just made sense, and we've cemented them into place so they won't move around a lot. We've got our first board up, like I said, and I even went up to the attic and found an old door that was up there that we'll put in this doorway. And as you saw, I already started to put in some of the windows. I got one in yesterday, and I got the frame in. So I put the frame in here, and I got one window in that is on its hinges, and it seems to close pretty well. There's a small gap here, which I can fill up later, but again, this isn't trying to be airtight. It's just trying to be able to close so nothing can get in, like cats or anything like that, once we have some tools in here. So like I'm saying, the window doesn't need to be airtight because we are just hoping that birds or big insects or cats don't get in, because if we have stuff up here that we're staining or that we're working on that we might paint and we want to keep it here to dry, we don't want a cat walking in and dancing on whatever we painted. So the windows don't have to be perfect. At some point we may replace them and actually install proper windows if we ever actually convert this into a real house, like a real mother-in-law apartment. But for now it's just a workshop, so we'll have the door put on the door frame here so nothing can get in, and we'll do the windows, and like I said, we'll continue to do the beams across, and yeah, that should be done this week in terms of the beams across. I just need to go to the hardware store to buy a few bricks and then also a little bit more cement so that I can mix it up and make the proper pour to finish that wall. But I think this will be probably done this week. because I want to get it knocked out. And actually the hardest part was on this side, I feel. The middle part will actually be easy because we're just putting the beams in place and making sure they're level. Because it's spanning wall to wall, we don't have to do any additional like wall building, so to say, just to raise it up to height. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yvonne wasn't around a lot in this video, which is why the filming didn't have as many clips, because Yvonne tends to be more thoughtful about getting clips, as for I tend to just start working and then I do the work and then I forget to have filmed, which is why it's often at the end being like, this is what I did, versus actually showing it. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching it anyways, and I will see you in the next video.